Prison is not a joke. I was arrested for 22 years. I smuggled in a gun to escape. I maintained the relationship for the rest of her sentence. My girlfriend that I love so dearly, it was because of us. Those two firearms were our firearms. I was charged for armed robbery, attempted murder, possession of illegal firearms, and also possession of scientific explosives, hijacking, and attempted murder. It was my first offense I haven't been convicted for. Remember back then, gangsterism was everywhere. I hated gangsterism with passion. I was arrested for 22 years. The sentence was 116 years and it was deducted into 53 years. So I ended up serving 22 years. Conditions were very horrible. Prison is not a joke. It's a very, very, very dangerous and horrible place to be. My first day in prison because I was just sentenced, taken to the maximum security. And in my mind, I have already drawn my own picture of how the place would be like. When I arrived there, it was a direct opposite of what I thought. Prison is like another world, not just a country within, but another world, because everything that is happening there is strange. It's something that we have never seen or something that we have never heard of. The attitude of the correctional officials, most of them or some of them, are just like criminals. You come, they steal from you, you are new, you know nothing, you're still vulnerable. It's easy for them to sell you to gangsters, especially people like me who were weighted by gangsters inside. Because remember, we're fighting with these gangsters outside. These guys are still continuing with their gangsterism activities and we're not. So you can imagine there was tension. It was a serious fight. Most of the people lost their lives. They wanted to attack me and it was easy for correctional officials to just open the gates for them so that they can come. But we ended up having to protect each other because we were a number of co-accused. Before my arrest, my partner, we were attending school together. We met at school. Her brother was my friend and we were very close. So every time when I would visit the guy, then she would be around. That's why she was arrested, because she happened to keep her brother's illegal firearm. And when the police came to search the house, she took the firearms and locked it inside the car. But the neighbor happened to see her. They informed the police. That's how she was arrested. At the time of her arrest, our relationship was very good. We were very close to each other. The relationship was healthy. We have been together for 3 years before she got arrested. It was not easy to maintain a relationship, knowing that the reason that is there, it was because of us. Those two firearms were our firearms, but they were found on her possession. Before she got sentenced, I was visiting her almost every day during the week, making sure that she got something to eat, got something to bath and stuff like that. And then after she got sentenced, food were not allowed to be brought to prison and the visits were limited 2 times a month. So it was very, very difficult. I maintained the relationship for the rest of her sentence. It was for 15 months and then she served 7 months. I was trying to be there for her, however small a way. And there were times when we were still writing letters to each other, smuggle letters, give it to the correctional officials that I know outside, and she would do the same, just to keep the love burning. She was released in 2000 and then I was arrested in 2001. So barely 9 months after she was released from prison. The part that was so painful was to leave her outside. For her to have been arrested for guns that we were using to fight against these gangsters, it was a serious issue now for gangsters. So leaving her outside, she was now automatically an enemy for the gangsters. And they did try to hit her twice, but she survived both of those hits. I felt like I was incapable of protecting her because I was not there. It was quite difficult for anyone to see me. At that time, I was declared as a high security risk offender. I was not allowed to be in contact with anyone, including other offenders, let alone my people who are visiting me. So we're always separated by a thick glass and you can't even touch each other. Even in court, there was just no way until she passed away, because I was only allowed to have 2 visitors per month. So it was my family and then her. Seeing my partner once a month was very difficult for both of us. We were very close to each other. We were doing almost everything together. So now, having been separated in that fashion put a serious strain on our relationship, because I remember feeling like I need to let her continue with her life. And I explained to her, because we're both still young, you want to be there, you want to enjoy life. So you can't be always caged as if you are still in prison. She never understood it and she hated it, because she felt like I was thinking she wants to be involved with another man. I knew that I was going to be sentenced for a long time. So for her to be around me, it was not going to help her. I can't remember any romantic or interesting day, because whenever she would visit, She could cry. There was never that kind of moment where we would really feel like, yes. It would be a very emotional moment every time, and I would feel like I was very careless. I never questioned her faithfulness. She was really honest. What kept our relationship going, I think, is her, because she was always hopeful. She never lost hope that one day I will get out of prison and we can continue with our relationship. And she was always ready and willing to wait, even if we cannot touch each other, but let's try and make it work. Even when I would be like feeling down and say, you can see this treatment, these people will never let me go. They want me to die in prison, but she was always hopeful. In total, I was together with her for 4 years. I was inside for 6 months, and then she passed away. Having a situation where I would lost my girlfriend that I love so dearly, which I know was going to be everything for me, made me do horrible things in prison. Just before her funeral, I smuggled in a gun to escape, but unfortunately the gun was discovered. So that's how crazy I was as a result of her passing away. I was told by her brother, I was arrested together with him. His family came to see through the social worker. There is a system in prison. When something like that happened, they would just call you, and then the social worker will reveal the news to you. When he told me, and then he came close to the window to tell me, everything just went blank. I felt nothing except for anger. I knew what was the reason. Blaming myself most of the time. In our organization, we had VIP protectors. She was now under their protection. They have to take her from her original place. She was placed in a secret place. She really hated it, and she was always complaining. I was the one, because she put pressure on me, and I realized that, this lady is not happy. Then I asked my guys to let her go. It was barely a month after she went out of that place, and he passed away in a car accident. According to the investigation, that car accident was also a man-made thing. Yes, they tampered with the system of the car, one wheel in front and one wheel at the back. I don't know how, but that's what the investigation revealed. My incarceration did not help anything. It destroyed the love that I had, because most of the time, instead of showing her the love that she deserved, I was always blaming myself now. I was always feeling for her instead of loving her. The reason I kept the relationship, it was because we both loved each other. We truly loved each other, and we were still young. We had dreams, we had plans. It was not easy for us to just let it go like that, especially her, because she truly believed that I was going to be released soon. I really felt that this whole thing was a burden on her, because I was inside unable to do things as a boyfriend. I believe that love that made her not to try to move on, even though I was insisting. I got the opportunity of writing a book in prison when I was still in Super Maximum in Coxet. Super Maximum is a correctional facility designed to keep high security risk inmates. So it's a non-contact center. You are totally isolated. Being alone like that 24 hours, 7 days a week, you start to think of anything constructive that you might focus on. And for me, it was writing, because writing had always been something that was so close to me since I was young. And I knew that I was writing books. From the first day I took the pen and the paper, I knew that, okay, the only thing that might help me here now, if I don't want to lose my sanity, let me write. I write everything, every emotion, every minute of the hour. I write something, and then later on, I compiled that work and make it books. But I only published one. If is there anything that I could do, it would be to reverse the situation where I let her access the legal guns. That's when the whole mess started. The first thing will be to apologize for exposing her to those illegal firearms, and ask her exactly what happened just before the accident. That part will be the only part that will bring closure to me.